You are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact, and more revenue in your business. Tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back. I'm coming to you today with some tough love, so get ready for it. It's not the algorithm. If you are not seeing client growth in your business, it is not the algorithm of social media. Welcome to Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am your host, Campbell Rapin. I am a business owner that helps hundreds of clients to create their client growth engine. And so many times people come into my world as clients because of the excuse or belief that it comes down to the algorithm. Social media has changed. My business has died. And for many, that is a scary, scary reality. Well, I will tell you that the algorithm since the dawn of time, and I'm going to date myself here, but I met the owners of Google back in 1996. And ever since then, they said, we will always control the algorithm. We will always be tweaking the algorithm based on what the market needs. And you business owners who are trying to game the algorithm should stop trying. We're smarter than you. It's actually what he said. I didn't like him very much, truthfully, at that time. But boy, did he have the last laugh, because Google is king still in the world of online business growth. But it does not come down to the algorithm. I will tell you, we're going to cover three things in today's episode. One, we're going to talk about buyers. We're going to talk about messaging, and we're going to talk about owning your ecosystem and creating value. Those are the key principles you need in order to see consistent client growth. And I will tell you, it is not the economy. It's not the algorithm. It is not external to you. If you do not have the business you want, you need to look in the mirror about the factors you are putting into your engine, because that is where the problem lies. Ooh, I told you I was coming in hot today. I will tell you, you are responsible for being the client growth engine of your business. Yes, you can have other fuel sources. Yes, you can add amplifiers into the business. Yes, you need and have an obligation to constantly fine-tune it, because truthfully, the marketplace is evolving. What worked 5 years ago doesn't work now. And I don't care whether you are still striving as a solopreneur to make your first six figures, or whether you have a multi-million-dollar business enterprise. There comes a time and place where everybody falls into the trap of thinking the issue is external. It's the algorithm. It's somebody else not delivering, contractor, employee. My friends, it comes down to you. It comes down to you and I getting connected to value creation and the people we want to serve. And here's how you do it. If you need to fine tune, listen up, put down the distractions. This is going to be the gold mine to launch your year. And this is be an episode you do want to re-listen to anytime you need a course correction. If you're connecting with a potential buyer, you need to start by understanding the buyer behaviors that indicate movement, and you need to be sure that the message, the value, the creation of results appeals to that specific person. So let's just break that down. Some of you have heard this before, but this is such a critical piece. It needs to be said again. Buyers have three characteristics. They are problem aware. They know they have a gap. They are actively aware that their own solutions and the solutions they've tried to date did not get them to the goal line, which means they are open to other paths. They are not looking for Band-Aids at this stage, because everything they put a Band-Aid on has still led to a hemorrhage. They are looking for fundamental change, and they know it lies somewhere else, and they are open and seeking a solution and a guide to get the results. The third thing is that there is high commitment and priority around solving the gap. It's not a nice to have. It's a non-negotiable. And that means they're moving time, money, and resources toward it. So the first piece of the puzzle is, when's the last time you really connected and not made an assumption with your buyer? Ooh, a little uncomfortable there, is it? Truthfully, this is part of why your business stalls. And I know this pattern happens. It happens to me. It happens to every business I mentor. And it happens to every peer that I sit in spaces with. We get caught into the place of enlightenment. We get caught thinking what worked before should work now. And sometimes our solution, when we realize it's not, is to throw more at it, which does not work, by the way. So if that's your strategy, please consider a recorrection here. Instead, I want you to be thinking about, when's the last time you connected? Because your buyer is out there. They are actively seeking in every economy. And in fact, in the current economic climate, I would wager a lot of money, my business future, on the fact that they are seeking today. And their runway is shorter. But it means if you are not connecting, it's not the algorithm, it's not the factors outside of you, it's what you are putting out into the marketplace. Because somebody else is buying. Somebody else is seeing that potential buyer that could be in your business. Go to them. The inputs are the problem. And we all have blind spots. And that's why working with a mentor, particularly someone with a world of business and is really connected to a lot of different communities, a lot of different sectors, a lot of different people that they meet day in, day out, can be a really great thinking partner. That's the value I bring to my clients. I know somebody who can connect you. And you need to prioritize connecting to that buyer. And you need to get a really deep understanding. What moves them? Because movement is the key piece of this. And you are in charge of the outputs of creating movement. So when I'm working with a client, I first always start with the fundamentals of what makes a buyer a buyer. The second piece I put in place is, what is the intentional strategy, overarching goal of creating the movement? And that comes down to a couple different things. They are very basic questions I ask. And most people really quickly can answer them. But if you can really quickly answer them, you are not connecting to the buyer because you've simplified things too much. You've taken the emotion out of it. You've used language that is too enlightened. And you really start to preach, judge, shame your buyer. And guess what? Guess what? No movement happens. Ooh, that's uncomfortable too. I want you to jump into the deep end, to the depth of the answers of the questions. And it's the same question I just asked you. What moves your buyer? How do you disrupt the pattern where that movement is taking place? That is where the client growth engine gets fueled. That is where you start to see predictability. That is why you're constantly fine-tuning. And you need to know and research and connect to the marketplace, because when you see the movement and you disrupt the pattern, it is up to you. That's the input again. It's up to you to lead the offer. And the offer might not be buy my stuff. The offer, very likely, with somebody who is not yet already engaged, committed, and seeing you as the must hire, might be a movement to a low risk next step. That's the marketing strategy. And we know buyers spend a ton of time researching their options because they've been burned. They've tried everything free. They've tried it themselves. And there is a tough come to Jesus moment which says, I can't do this myself. And when you're in that moment with them, in the dark, your messaging lands. Not because you pushed it, but because it pulled them to a place that says, I see you. Ooh, goosebumps. That's the place you craft. That's the place you need to play at. Because when you play at that, it's never the algorithm. It's never the contractors you're working with. It is the fact that I can command. I know what I stand for. I know how to create the movement. I know what you value. I know how to guide you to the results. And I know how to do it predictably. Most importantly, and here's why you hired me. And you need to own that level of stuff. And it can't be that you're just, like everybody else. I tell my clients, this is the truth. If you want to know why hire you, it's a simpler question than you're asking yourself. What makes you highly qualified to be the guide? Chances are it's the story you're not sharing. You sharing that story connects somebody to the deep end. It's why they say, I see you. It's also why you have credibility with a stranger. When you start to invite the movement and get them moving, you start to build trust. Your stories create the likability. And if you are, I said, trying to see a client growth engine come into your business, the truth is that it is what your inputs are in the marketplace. Because there are 8 billion people plus on the planet. Last time I checked, didn't audit them, just read the census. But what I was told is that there is a diversity out there. Somebody needs exactly what you offer. Somebody needs exactly what you do. And you need to stop going for the crowd and find the buyer. It is not a numbers game. 3% of buyers are ready to purchase at any given day. What are they looking for? A safe choice that creates results, that they feel connected to the person who will be their guide. So if your business has stagnated, or you are not certain where the next buyer will come from, and you feel like you don't have a lot of inquiries to your business, you have disconnected from the buyer and what the buyer needs now. What's the last thing they tried and failed? How intimately do you know it? What positions you different to what they've tried? And how can you own it on a human level? Business growth really is elegantly simple. I'm watching so many people now deflect from the fact that it is the inputs that are the problem. And here's why. Because we all have blind spots. We all think our messaging when we work with partners is so crystal clear. And then when it comes out from the engine on the other side, it's so vanilla. Ooh, that one's dangerous too. Feels a bit like a dagger. It's okay to be there today, but staying there is optional. I work with clients to read between the lines. I work with clients to reconnect to the buyer. I get them crystal clear on who it is they're serving. And the most important thing that you need to remember across every piece of your journey of sales, momentum, revenue, ripples of impact is this simple truth. People exchange money, time, resources only when there's value. Not eyes from the person with the business, but eyes from the buyer who is desperately seeking a solution that creates results that they feel confident committing behind to solve the problem once and for all. So I want you to audit. I want you to audit how often you've blamed somebody else. And I want you to take a moment, start looking in the mirror and look at your inputs. If you feel fundamentally with your spidey sense that something's off, it is. Doing things that are no longer working is just a waste of time, money, and bandwidth. I want you to say, I need a course correction. I have a program that will run throughout this year, 2024, which is about reconnecting to the buyer. It's right for every business who's going, I don't know what to change. We're going to help you research. We're going to help you answer the questions. And I said, the questions are really simple. Don't mistake simplicity for functional and impact. We're going to help you figure it out because you need to be able to iterate this. Because where you start serving your business at the start of the year and who you may serve at the end is going to likely shift. I want you to shift with confidence. I want you to shift knowing you can. I want you to shift so that you create a client growth engine. Content performs well when it connects to the buyer. When you know the so what factors. When you show up as human. And sometimes we're scared to do that. And that's why thinking partners like me are highly, highly valued. Come explore the program. This is a group program. Cohort start. They will be open 3 times this year. Don't wait. And if you can't wait, come and talk to me about the one-to-one mentorship. Let's get this solved. Because as of today, I'm calling BS. It's not the algorithm. It is not your contractor. It is not your staff. It is you in the mirror who's putting poor inputs. And you know the saying is true. Garbage in, garbage out. Take the trash, kick it to the curb, reset, and you will see huge, huge shifts in your business. And not just once. I'm not just about the once and done thing, and you should know that if you're following here on Amplify Your Marketing Message. I want sustainable growth for you. So let's do it, my friends. I will see you on the inside. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.